Okay, looks like we're back online. So, god damn.
Is it true?
I don't know. We are back online.
We are back online? Okay. We just don't know where. Hey, everybody. Oh, man, we're getting it together, people. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So
those of you who've been watching on the stream key, there's now a new stream key. So, Jesus, technology is really, really difficult to deal with sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. You believe that we're live now?
We're definitely live. I can see us now.
Okay. Do you suppose this is where we're live?
Try it.
It doesn't say that we're live here. It just says that we're going to be on. I think that was the old one.
That's the old one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you, man. Well, in any case, if we are live, we'll find a way to be live and see where we are there live. And once we're there, then you can let us know if, in fact, we are live. So please type into the chat and let us know if you can hear us or if we're actually there.
So, I think we should kind of just chat around a bit and see if people figure out going back to the header page and choosing the new live stream there.
Maybe we should do like a thing.
We've got nobody watching right now.
So maybe we should
do a thing. We got 3 people watching on there.
Great. So if one of those 3 people...
Pavlov's dog! Pavlov's dog!
How much do we love Pavlov's dog?
We love Pavlov's dog so much.
This much. Okay, so that means we're on. I don't know if anybody else will figure it out. I'm going to leave my message thing on here.
Pavlov's definitely
a tech-affine
person.
Yeah. Pavlov's dog knows how it works.
Right.
So, Michael.
Yes, Jim.
It should be about something. This week, we have no idea what it's going to be about. It feels like this week was a very busy week.
It almost feels like we're not actually online yet, or we're just kind of in some limbo doing something else.
Right.
Unraveling wires somewhere in a separate dimension or something.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely been a crazy week in Vienna. Mm-hmm. With lockdown starting and a terror attack downtown.
Yeah. I was home when that was happening. Were you home while that was happening?
I was home while that was happening. We were watching TV and we heard sirens going up and down and a helicopter and we were like, okay, something's going on. And then somebody sent us an SMS that there'd been an attack. Yes, Pavlov. You refresh the page, of course.
I set a reminder and refreshed the page. Reminder.
And Verena Müller. Hello, Verena Müller.
Is also here. So I guess that's probably Pavlov's dog could back us up on that. That's why everyone is always on YouTube saying, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification button. Because then it notifies you when something happens.
I don't know. I always think when people tell me to hit the notification button.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the notification button because I subscribe to so many different channels that that notification button thing would be driving me crazy.
I hear you. I totally hear you. I suppose you have to be judicious about what your notifications are, like only when you watch something live. I never did that before, but I started curating my YouTube subscriptions. It's like my own little cable channel box now. So, there are certain things that you go to, and then I have those updates every day, and then I can kind of flip through the channels.
the bing-a-ling for no matter what they do. If they upload something.
Right, and so I don't use the notification either.
Me neither.
I found the notification to be helpful on Twitch because it reminded me, these people are going live. I wanted to see them live. But other than, things that are going to be live, I don't need a notification.
No. I've already set aside time in my day. I don't need things.
Yeah.
So Pavlov's dog and Verena, you guys, what do you want to talk about? We've kind of made this whatever's on the page, whatever people want to talk about today.
Yeah. It's been a full week as well. You know, I mean, I've always got one eye on the States and watching what's happening with
God.
the election, and that's still pretty crazy. It's been a lot. This was the week that the lockdown started again, and the effect that it has on indoor entertainment and how we usually spend our lives has been a big thing.
So this way you can see Jim talking.
This is me in the 70s now, apparently. Yeah, we've got two little webcams that we've set up that we can switch between. So, but this one is definitely
I got the high quality webcam.
Yeah,
I got the 1990s.
Except yours is, there you go. Now you're in focus.
I got the 1990s webcam, which has the follow my face function and stuff like that.
And it's really that's a nice camera, man.
It's not
That's
bad.
great.
And Jim got this one that this is the one that they shot Starsky and Hutch on.
I look like I'm in like, oh no, I kicked the camera.
You moved mine.
Switch back to you, and then we can make sure that you're still.
No, I think I've got follow my face. Now I've got that.
I got you. Yeah, no, it's okay. Switch back to my camera because my camera, I look like I've got a filter on it. It's like, it looks like...
you've got overexposure filter on
like one of those early Audis when people were taking their first...
Lomo?
Yeah. And you had like the Lomo filters and stuff.
Yeah. And it looks a little bit like Polaroids.
What we really hope is that the microphones are still working when we're on these cameras. I hope that still works. Greetings from California. Wow, look at that. View through trees, popping in, nice. Hello, View Through Trees, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. What time is it in California?
Let's guess. It's a little after 8:30 now. That makes it a little after 2:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast, which makes it
6 hours earlier.
9:30. 3 hours then. 4 hours. 10 hours in total to California, I guess. Is it 10 hours? Yeah.
Is it 6 hours from the East Coast to the West Coast? Or is it 4?
4.
Oh, okay. So it's 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
10 in the morning.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shouldn't do that with my head, huh? So let's turn. I look like I'm going to break myself. Let's
go back. Let's go back to the normal camera.
Yeah, let's go back to the main action. Holy cow, that's so nice. I hope that works. I hope that looks good.
So we're gonna finesse this a little bit. This was our try and fly.
Yes.
Show.
And as we were saying, because this week has been seemingly so full, and we spent a lot of time trying to make this shit work, we didn't have any subjects this week. Usually we'll have 3 subjects. Last week, I had a lovely conversation with the wonderful Sarah Schaff, who was our guest with me, and she was terrific. So a big shout out to Sarah. Thank you so much for joining me. She was just lovely.
Yeah, I think we should talk about something else. We should not talk about the election, the lockdown, or the terror attack.
That's right. Let's not talk about any of those things. Then I'm just going to pull this right out of my butt. Here's my subject.
So this is, now you know why the internet's full of shit. Because every time we go live, Jim pulls something out of his butt. Yes. And it ends up going viral. You got viral stuff up your butt.
My shit's viral. My poop is viral.
We should make a song out of that. My poop is viral. Coming soon, actually. Homemade jam tracks.
God, that's
channel.
all we need is for poop to go viral.
Poop is viral.
Of course.
I think any kind of shit's viral.
It's full of virility.
It's
virality.
Full of virilous bacteria.
Victor V. Vulture vaudeville ventriloquist vexatiously vocalizing at the Valhalla Variety venue.
He's a show-off. He does this all day, every day. Welcome to my world.
Ta-da!
Now, you want to pull something out of your ass and talk about it?
Yeah, okay. So I want to talk...
I didn't think we were literally going to pull something out of your ass and talk about your poop.
No.
Yeah, which we did now for 2 minutes.
That's right. The thing I want to talk about is... I'm not want to talk about that. I was going to talk about my birthday, which was yesterday. Had my birthday yesterday.
Yes.
And
We don't know how old he is. We just know the day he has his birthday on.
yeah, and it was really fun, and I had a wonderful day, and some really wonderful friends of mine got together and got me a loop station, which is one of the coolest things ever, and I am definitely going to be playing with this all the time, and it's fun at parties, and it's really cool. But that's not
You
what I
make
want to
your
talk
own
about.
party background. Everybody gets to
Yeah.
participate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Nice.
can do a whole, just a whole track of people just murmuring in the background. You know, and then it sounds like you've got friends around all the time.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a movie where they wanted to make it look like there was somebody in the room, and so they put like a paper cutout of somebody on a train, and so it looked like somebody, the shadow of somebody was pacing back and forth in the room. Do you remember this? Is this an image for you?
Is it a movie from the 80s called Filofax?
I don't know. I kind of half remember the movie Filofax.
There's
I do believe
there's
it
a
is
guy
an
who
80s
dies.
movie.
They carry his
Thank you
body
for
around
saying
for
happy
days.
birthday. Yes.
How
How does marriage affect the sex life?
Okay, Pavlov,
Says
you need to tell
View
us,
Through
are you
Trees.
married yet or not? And we'll gladly talk about this. So
Right.
does marriage affect your sex life? Does
Well-
marriage affect your
Affects
your life?
Your affect life. Well, this question is actually coming out to us from View Through Trees.
Oh.
So maybe we should find out whether View Through Trees is married. I am not married, so I can't tell you as to whether marriage affects my sex life. Other people's marriages have affected my sex life.
I think that's a topic.
Michael, you're married. How has your marriage
How has
affected your
my
sex
marriage
life?
affected your sex life?
Hey, let's turn the camera over to Michael and find out how Michael.
So I think marriage has not affected my sex life.
No?
It's the same as it was before marriage.
Your sex life.
My sex life,
It's the same as it ever was.
same as it ever was.
Same as it ever was.
Same thing.
Same as it ever was.
Same as it ever
was. This is not my big beautiful wife.
This is not my big beautiful house. Water flowing underground.
My God, how did I get here? Okay, so marriage
Into
did
the
not
blue
affect your.
again.
Did not affect your
marriage
sex
did
life.
not affect my sex life. I think the thing that does affect your sex life is getting into a kind of routine in your life, or I guess in your relationship.
Yeah.
Which, if you get married at some point, I mean, obviously you're going to get into routines more and more and more and more. So I guess breaking the routine is.
Yeah.
I think what is noticeable the longer you are in a relationship, and this has nothing to do with whether or not you're married or not.
Right.
But at some point you start getting into the kind of relationship routine where there's not enough time or space for spontaneity.
Right. Trying to get the focus.
And you actually end up having to make time for sex like you make time for everything else in your relationship.
I just ate your head, by the way.
There's
Focus.
that super gross moment where Jesus licks the bowling ball in The Big Lebowski. Can you just stick your tongue into the camera and see if you can make it look like you're licking my head? That's what I'm talking about. That's live television, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. So
Look at that, the magic of television. We actually did it. Michael, we just switched from one camera to the other. It was amazing.
Incredible.
I love it so much. No. View Through Trees and Pavlov's dog, neither of them are married. So, well, there you go. If you do get married, anecdotal evidence allows us to believe that your sex life will not change. Although,
well, you need to.
It depends on
You might need to plan for your sex
how
life.
your sex life is now. Maybe
Yeah.
if you're going from zero sex life to married, maybe that will change your sex life.
Well, if you're fundamentalist religiously, you might be going from zero sex life to actually having a sex life.
This is what I'm trying to
So,
say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we all did that at some point.
What?
Went from no sex life
Oh.
to having a sex life.
Yeah. I had a very vivid sex life as a small child.
A very vivid sex life.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was all in my head.
Yeah. How it would all go, how it
yeah.
would work. Yeah. Yeah. The zipless fuck. Erica Jong.
Yeah.
Fear of Flying. Did you ever read that? Read that back in the day.
No.
It's a good book.
I didn't. I read Fanny Hill.
Ah, yeah. Also nice. So, thinking of that, okay, so you go from no sex life to finally having a sex life. I think it's also often in life, there are last times, you know, so like there was a moment, but those are the ones, like when you went from zero sex life to having a sex life, we remember that because that was our first sexual experience, the
Yeah.
beginning of our sex life. But the last time
You had
something
sex with
happens,
someone.
you never really know that this is going to be it. Sometimes you do, but like,
Oh, right.
like there was a moment, there was the last time your mom picked you up. Do you remember when the last time, I don't know if we were prepared for that, but there was one time where she picked you up and then after that,
You always had to take the bus
you
home?
were too big. No, you were too big. You know, she didn't pick you up
Oh,
anymore.
that picking up. Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Or like,
Well, yeah.
you know, maybe you don't realize it, but like you live somewhere and you go on a hiking trip and you think, I love this area, you know, maybe you've gone there hiking quite
What
a
are you
lot.
talking about? You've never been on a hiking trip in your life.
Just let me go on this flight of fancy for a bit. Hiking.
Make up someone else's life.
Hiking is good. It's not the same as Spaziergehen, and we can get into that later. What I'm
We talk
trying
about-
to say
okay.
is that maybe you have gone to this place quite a number of times, but then without thinking about it, you move away and some opportunity happens.
And you think, God, I wish I would have gone out in the woods one more time just to
Well,
check
perhaps,
it out.
but then you don't think about that. But then you realize, okay, there was a last time. I'm never going to hike that again.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I personally don't think of those moments, but maybe we should. You know, just living each moment like this could be the last time we do. It should be about something. Let's have fun with it. I guess that's where I'm going with that.
This could be the last time we do It Should Be About Something.
Yeah, I hope it's not true, but you never know. I'm just saying those last times are harder to define.
Yes. First, yeah, okay.
Plan for. You know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you plan for the last time. Did you plan the?
I remember the
last time I have sex with this person.
Yes, I do.
Plan that one
I
out.
remember one particular last time that I had sex with one person. Yeah, it was sex with my ex, and it only happened once. So I remember that.
Saying, okay, this is it. I'm going to do it this last time.
No, she was my ex at that point.
Yeah, but
So
you decided
we
you were
kind
gonna,
of met for
and you're gonna
something
just-
else.
right.
No, it wasn't intentional.
but you did have sex, and
but
then
we did end up having sex.
right, which you hadn't planned for, but then you realized in Nachhinein,
Well, I'd kind of planned for it.
you kind of planned.
She hadn't.
She hadn't planned for it. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Do we? We're not going to.
We can go there.
Okay. I like a man who follows through on his intentions, you know,
So-
and I'm glad it worked for
So
you.
I thought that we'd meet up and maybe we'd have sex.
Right.
She wasn't planning for this.
Did she mention that? Did she come in saying, "Listen,
So,
I plan on
well, let
meeting
me-
you,
let me-
but I do
No,
not
we'd
plan on
already
having
broken
sex."
up. We'd already broken up.
I know,
right?
but
So-
I'm saying you are so intent on your intention, but you're assuming a lot that she came into this
Okay,
interaction.
So
without
I went
planning.
to the interaction
Yeah.
wearing the sexy undie she'd bought me.
See, I get that you were totally intended.
And then when she pulled my trousers down and saw the sexy undies I was wearing that she'd given me, she was like, "You planned this."
Wow. Well, which you had.
No, I was.
You don't put on the sexy undies.
Okay, so I was planning it. No, I was ready for whatever was going to happen.
Exactly. And this is what I'm saying. I applaud you for having your preparation down. I applaud you for the seduction. I'm just saying I think it's interesting that I don't think you should assume that she came into the interaction just like having sex with Michael is like out of the question. oh, wait a minute, he completely seduced me from 180 degrees and I've turned it all around. I think if she was anxious to see what underwear you were wearing, there was some affection on her part.
Oh no! By that time, we.
Yeah, I know by that time.
What,
I'm
you
just
didn't-
saying, you don't know that she didn't come to this interaction with it in the back of her head like,
No, sure. Women are crazy. Yeah. She probably came to the interaction with that in her head, and then decided to, turn it around and use it against me because I was wearing the sexy undies she bought me.
yeah. But ladies often, okay, have you ever gotten the one, what, you have a toothbrush in your bag? Oh, you're one of those kind of guys.
No.
Prepared for the one night stand.
Oh.
Did you ever hear that one?
Yeah, no.
Me either. I never heard that one. I don't keep a toothbrush in my
You
bag.
do.
I keep a toothbrush in my
you
bag.
have
but
more toothbrushes than anybody I know.
I have more toothbrushes.
There's toothbrushes all over you. Like wherever you go, there's a toothbrush.
That's not true.
Like I've shared space in the theater with him, and there's like a toothbrush there.
Of course, you have I'm gonna have a toothbrush for the dressing room. You know.
See what this is
gotta
what I
have
have
a
to do. This is what I have to work with.
Yeah. Well, just because you come in all stanky breath with your garlic tuna fish, onion pizzas, and your doner kebabs with extra stink. Hello, I would like to have that with extra stink. Ohne alles, aber extra stink, please.
So
It was laundry day.
it was laundry.
It was
day.
not laundry day. He totally did this on purpose. And so, just like Michael, the ladies, they plan shit. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I think she probably had in the back of her head that she was gonna
Of course she was. Of course she had.
throw
Of course
you
she
a
had.
bone.
She was gonna catch my bone.
God. Yeah, but okay, so there are half plans of doing things for the last time. But often we just don't know. Often we just don't know it's the last time. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
It's like you remember doing things for the last time when you're on holiday because you find something particularly nice to do,
Right.
and then you go and do that the last time before you go home.
Oh, okay. I hear you. I hear you.
I can't say I actually remember any one of those times because you actually end up doing exactly the same thing you've done for like 2 weeks or
Yeah.
10 days or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh no, I do actually. I remember
Okay.
one at least.
All right, hit me.
A holiday in Crete, and on the last day I built this little stone tower.
Yes.
What are you mouthing to the camera?
Nothing, because the camera isn't even on.
You can't mouth anything to the camera because
It's
that
all
camera's-
on you. We're all about your story. Don't let me interrupt you. You're
So,
building a sandcastle.
I built the stone tower.
A stone tower.
stone tower,
Oh, like
yeah.
like stacking stones?
Stacking stones, yeah.
Okay. And?
I did that on the last day. That was the only day that I did that. I remember that.
And is that the last time you stacked stone?
No, I've stacked lots of stones.
You're a stone stacker?
I'm a stone stacker, yeah.
What is it that you like about the stone stacking?
Sometimes it's the improbability of them staying up. Mm-hmm. Somehow intriguing. Mm-hmm. I was in this place in Croatia last year in summer, and there were hundreds of them. It was this beach that had a very, very shallow water going up for like over 100 meters and quite a lot of stones, and there were literally hundreds of these things stacked up there.
Of the stacked stones?
And they'd stay for a long time because the water wouldn't rise much.
Nice.
Stone towers, yeah. Oh yeah, and in Greece, also this one of the holidays that I had on Crete, we did a hike through the Samaria Gorge, and we got to this place where there'd been hundreds, really, literally hundreds of these things stacked up in this one little corner.
Can you say that in sort of like a David Attenborough sort of way? You
Yeah,
know, like,
I can.
Here, in the Sumerian Gorge.
Me doing this. And here, in the Samaria Gorge, there are literally thousands of these little stone temples piled up by people who come past.
That was great. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
That was really.
You're welcome.
That was Michael Smolnik,
my
ladies
best
and
David
gentlemen.
Attenborough.
Yeah, pretty
I've
good.
been accused of doing David Attenborough quite often, actually.
Hey, really?
Yeah.
I have never accused you of that.
You are the first person who accused me of doing the David Attenborough, which is how I noticed that I do the David Attenborough.
When did I ever accuse you of doing David Attenborough?
like-
I am wounded,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
You have
as
wounded
you should
me.
be. I don't know. It was about 15, maybe 25 years ago. I don't-
How accusatory
I
was this
remember.
thing?
I remember.
What did I say? Did I be like,
I was-
"Oh, you're just doing your David Attenborough
No,
again"?
I was presenting a show, and after the show, Jim's like to me, "You shouldn't do that in the David Attenborough voice."
I don't remember.
Like, what's with the David Attenborough voice, dude? Yeah. So there you are.
Yeah.
Walked into your own trap.
I don't know. I think if this is true, what you say, and
Ah!
I highly doubt the validity of all of these statements.
Yeah.
But if it is true, I would now reverse my decision. I would definitely take your David Attenborough over your Southern redneck. Which, if I have seen you do a Southern redneck character for the last time already, I am more than happy for that to be true.
Okay.
And will not mourn its loss.
Okay, so I added a limiter to the vocals because I think it was going ha, not so much loud anymore.
Oh, God. Okay.
You mean this character? No more ham? Is he too slow for you or what?
Can you do one of a guy trying to pick up a girl at a bar as David Attenborough?
Okay. Can I go to the other camera?
Yeah, you have to go to the other camera. Yeah. You got to go down.
No. I need to click on this before I can. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
See?
There we go. Oh, nice.
Hello, darling. I have to say, you're quite lovely. Would you like to join me later? I have a room here in this hotel.
Oh.
I'm David Attenborough.
Oh, well, hello, David. My name's Cheryl.
Oh, Cheryl. Yes. I can see by the tone of your skin that you're from Australia.
Oh, no, actually.
You aren't?
No. It's funny that you mention it, though. A lot of people
Quite an
think...
extraordinary cancerous spot you have there on your forehead.
Oh, my.
Quite lovely.
Are you a doctor, David?
No, I'm a biologist.
Ah.
Marine biologist and otherwise as well.
Marine and otherwise?
Come up to my hotel room. I don't have long to live.
My God.
Come up to my hotel room now, Cheryl. Please. I'm dying. I'm dying now, as I stand before you, speaking in my breathy voice. This might be the last breath I get to voice.
Well, David,
I beg you.
the stink of desperation that is pouring out of you is more than I can bear. And yet, there's something about the smoothie silkiness of your voice. I will follow you. Oh, God. All right, check, please.
Ta-ta!
You asked for it. You can't unask for it.
Oh, God. I look like an insane person. I don't look anything like David Attenborough.
No, but you definitely are insane. Well, I think...
Sorry, it wasn't clear, but this is awesome too. View through the trees.
View Through the Trees was looking for David Attenborough to be narrating a scene where someone was trying to pick up a girl.
Yes, I understand. Okay, sorry. David Attenborough has needs as well. View through the trees. So, just putting that out there.
There was something so direct about it. It reminds me of the story of the physicist Feynman, Richard Feynman. Did you ever read anything by Richard Feynman? Richard Feynman, he was a physicist and mathematician. He worked on the
Manhattan Project?
Manhattan Project. He wrote this lovely book called called Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman. And it's a bunch of short essays that he wrote, and it's incredibly funny and very sweet. He talks about his wife, who he lost quite early. They were both quite young when she died. And he talks about working on the Manhattan Project. He also talks about picking locks and solving problems and puzzles in life as well as in physics. And one of the stories he talks about is doing experiments about picking up women and being incredibly direct with it, you know, just being just like right at the beginning of their interaction of just being like, oh, it's really nice to meet you. And then like maybe 3 sentences in, just be saying something like, Cheryl, by the way, I find you very attractive, and I just want to know, what do you think? Later on tonight, do you think, is there something happening?
Right now, maybe?
Yeah? And he was like, you know, 9 times out of 10 it wouldn't work, or whatever, and sometimes it would.
Yeah.
And just, you know, just being, it's been years since I read it, but it was just the way you did that just really reminded me of that.
We had a buddy in South Africa who would do that. You'd be walking down the street with him, and a woman would walk past that he fancied, and he'd just follow her, stop her on the street, and say something. We'd always be watching this from a distance.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'd like get clouted with a handbag, or he'd get shouted at and screamed at, or what. And sometimes he'd walk off with a woman to the nearest hotel.
It's a numbers game, man.
And but it was like most of the time it didn't work out.
Yeah,
but it worked out often enough for him.
Yeah.
That, you know, it was worth it.
Yeah. He's going to keep. If you're fishing and the bait is working well enough for you, then don't change your bait. You know. Yeah. Absolutely. I hear you. So here's my question. What was the best way somebody tried and failed, or tried and succeeded to pick you up? What was the best? Did you notice that was what they were doing? And if you did, what was it that worked? Or what was that didn't work? So I'm hoping for some chat
Why
there.
don't we start with you?
Well, I'm going to go grab a drink real quick, and so I'm just going to put that out there for the audience to chat about, because I want to hear about those ways, and then I'm going to make the camera go to you for a second. And God, that looks good.
You're gonna kind of make a duck, a disappearing act.
No, just a quick disappearing act to get myself more of my drink. I'll be back in a
Are
second.
you still hooked up?
I'm hooked.
So a woman picking me up.
Wait a second.
No,
This is gonna be-
that's no good. I'm gonna get good at this. I have been. So look. Yeah, I've not been successfully picked up by a woman, I have to admit. I've had some.
Have you been unsuccessfully picked up by a woman?
Well, I've had some brazen encounters.
Yeah.
With drunk women.
Yeah.
And married women.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, like older married women, like women who were about my age when I was mid-20s or stuff.
Right. But like, and
You're not on mic.
I know. So what I'm saying is,
And yet, and they were not really successful. I was rarely into that.
right.
There's been a couple of occasions where I've been kind of powerless to resist. You know how you're powerless to resist when you're being confronted by someone who's playing that game at a much higher level than you're capable of playing.
Oh fuck yeah.
So like you're,
Oh, yeah.
you're 22 or you're 24 and you're playing against a woman who's 50, right?
Yeah.
And then you end up spending like a day and a half of your life walking around with a 50-year-old, like in clubs, and she's got her hands down your trousers.
Yeah, I had that experience. Yeah, that's weird. But having somebody who plays the game better than you.
Yeah, you know, it's like you think this is a game that we all play. It's like chess, okay? We can all play chess, but
there's
some
people
people
that are
just
better at it.
really can play that game a
Yeah.
lot better. And even if you've just played the game a couple of times more, you just know a couple of moves. You know there's certain things that are going to work no matter
Right.
what you do, right? No matter what your opponent does, these moves are going to work. Like those first 10 moves,
Wow.
Aljechin moves, they're going to work.
Wow. I mean, first of all, I would agree with all of this, and I hope you all understand out there. I think this is all right, especially if you look like Michael Smolik.
Why? What's that got to do with it?
Yeah, rule number 1, be attractive. Rule number 2, don't be not attractive. I think it's easier
To get hit on
to
if
get
you're
hit
attractive.
on when you're attractive. Yeah. Which is also annoying because I know a lot of attractive people that hate that. Because it becomes
Okay, but
such a...
but if that's really the case, then why were most of the women that I kind of ended up in that situation with not particularly attractive?
So I don't know. I don't want to speak to specifics, but I would probably say because people who aren't as attractive as other people work harder at seduction
Okay.
than those to whom it comes more easily. Easilier, which is now a real word.
So maybe it's also a question of nothing to lose, right?
And everything
Well,
to gain. Absolutely.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
like a married woman in her 50s picking up a 25-year-old kid in a bar.
yeah, because if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. There's
Yeah.
no desperation, which is always super
There's no
attractive.
loss. Yeah.
Right? So, you know, if you've got nothing to, if there's no desperation, if you have no need, that's always the most attractive.
Yeah, I can't say I was particularly attractive. I can't say I was particularly attracted.
That's not what I'm saying.
I was incapable of resisting the onslaught.
I'm sure.
I was
But
out
there's-
of my depth.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. We're talking about
I was
several
playing a
different things at the
game
same
I
time.
didn't understand.
Which always happens with Michael. Okay. Yes.
Pieces I didn't. Oh. God. Okay, fuck it. This is going to stream anyway, but I'm gonna do that.
What are you doing?
I'm just recording it. But I'm recording it in super HD this time, just to
Okay.
see what happens.
Okay.
I'm gonna blow up my computer.
Okay. I don't know what Michael's doing. But I am glad to know that Michael has been hit on. So it has happened effectively and
View through the
unaffectively.
tree says we're both attractive.
That, View Through the Trees knows what they are talking about. Yeah, but I think
I wasn't gonna argue.
we've been talking about what that. Why did we even start about this? Oh yeah, picking up somebody, having yourself being picked up.
But Pavlov's
So-
dog, View Through the Trees, and Verena, nobody is actually giving us anything that
Yeah, they haven't told us
That-
what works and what doesn't work.
What works and what doesn't
So I
work.
can tell you from a friend of mine. I had a friend named Martha who was this wonderful young woman. She was very pretty and very smart.
Is there
And
a
she-
difference? Sorry, I really have to ask you this. Is there a difference between pretty and beautiful?
Absolutely.
If there is, what is the difference?
I think pretty has a connotation of cuteness, less of a grand scale than beautiful does. I think beautiful denotes something more epic than pretty. I think a flower can be beautiful, but a flower can also be just pretty.
Does it depend on the flower?
Always.
So are orchids beautiful, but daisies are pretty?
I think a daisy is quite pretty, but I think an orchid can be beautiful. I think a daisy can be beautiful, but it's
got to be
a
some
pretty.
really finger-licking kind of daisy.
It's got, yeah, and there's an angle aspect to get to the beauty. I don't know. That's where I'm going with that at the moment. Maybe other people have.
I was thinking about this
feel
the other
for that
day, and
word.
I'm sorry, I realized you was actually going somewhere else, but I was thinking about this the other day because I was going through a photographer's portfolio.
Yes.
And I was thinking, oh, she's beautiful.
Yes.
Oh, she's pretty. And then I
yeah.
realized that I was grading on what my personal interpretation of beauty or beautiful and pretty is.
Oh yeah, but we all do that.
And but they are very often close
Oh sure.
to each other, and I decided that the difference for me between pretty number 10 and beautiful number 10 is that the beautiful is somehow unapproachable, but the pretty has a quality of approachability to it.
Yes, approachability is an important factor. And beauty has,
Something
because of the
standoffish.
epicness of it is, it's a little more on the pedestal. Art is beautiful. When you see something, oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's beautiful. The David
Yeah.
by Michelangelo is beautiful.
But I was thinking that they're both on the scale of 10. So it's like she's really pretty.
Yeah.
And she's really beautiful.
Yeah.
But
There's a difference
one I
between-
could talk to and the other one I couldn't, I guess.
I hear you. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. Ah, okay. So
That's what I mean with the
there's a
approachability
filter
thing.
there. I see what you're saying. Okay, but I think you also have the same distinction between you can have someone who is incredibly attractive, but they're not pretty.
Yes. Yes, you can.
You can have someone who is quite beautiful, but they can be unattractive.
Do you go home with pretty or beautiful?
Both,
Yes.
for different reasons. Michael doesn't go home with beautiful because he's too afraid of beautiful. Because only pretty is approachable.
It's quite possible.
I hope your wife isn't watching this.
We're not talking about my wife.
Okay, thank God.
And I'm not gonna talk about, So sometimes my wife is definitely beautiful, but she's always been approachable. Like I remember the first 2 times I met her, and she was always totally approachable, although she was extremely beautiful.
Right. Right, which isn't always the same thing because, for example, when young girls are quite beautiful, they learn at a very early age that they get this attention that isn't necessarily wanted, and then they develop that bored attitude, which is this self-defense mechanism of just, and we'll just take everything from the world in this sort of bored manner because they've found often that if they show any sort of sympathy or positive vibe to anything, it's like, oh, well, you like, okay, hello.
Somebody's
how you
gonna
doing?
they're gonna get stuck to somebody, yeah.
Oh, God.
But to answer your question, if I don't actually think it makes a difference. I mean, whenever I have been single, this is the honest to God truth. I've gone home with whatever was available, and
Kein kost verächter.
no.
Michael
so,
Smolik.
So neither. So beautiful, pretty.
I hear you. I hear you.
And down the scale.
I am totally down with you. I agree wholeheartedly. I am very much of the Zorba the Greek school of thought,
What's that?
where Zorba always said that the only sin is to say no to a woman.
Really?
Yeah.
That movie's full of interesting things.
I don't remember if that's in the movie, actually. It's deaf in the book.
Okay.
And the book is something you have to have read. And I think it's kind of a man's book. I think it's a boy book. I may be prejudiced in that way, and I'm sure women can enjoy the book as well. But there's something definitely man about the book.
Maybe it's sexist these days.
Maybe, but I think it has so much to do with this life philosophy of Zorba and, you know, the adventures. I remember when I was reading it, I was reading it at a very influential, I don't know, I was very open at the time when I was reading it. And I was enjoying the book so much that I only allowed myself one chapter a day. I wouldn't, because I didn't want the book to end. So I only allowed myself to read one chapter a day. There was just such a warmth and such, I found myself drawn completely into this book.
How old were you?
I was in my 20s. I was in my 20s. I was traveling. I remember I actually read it was before I moved to Vienna. Oh, so I was much younger then. Yeah, but I was in my very early 20s. And I sat in this beautiful old school apartment, you know, so Altbau, beautiful wooden floors, big white walls, tall windows, floor to ceiling. The apartment back in the day was owned by Marian Damali. You know Damali?
No, I don't know.
Oh, the director. Wonderful, wonderful woman. And I had known this woman, and she was living there with this other woman who I then met, and then there was a bunch of actors hanging out there, and I sat next to a fire in the fireplace, candles all around with the cold gray November sky showering down on Vienna, and would just read one chapter a day. But it's a great book, and I would highly recommend it for anybody to read it, especially fellas. And in any case, the whole point being, Zorba said, the only sin in life is to say no to a woman. And I would often have that ringing through my head, because I think there's so much, for me it was beauty, and if it's beauty or being pretty, it's kind of gewöhnlich. There's so much beauty in the world, and there's so many beautiful women and so many pretty women. So, you know, yeah, I'll try that. I'll try that flavor.
Yeah, I think it's all about the flavors.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been like a dude who's like, I only like big tits. He's like, no, what do you got?
No.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I have. You have to enjoy the person you're with.
Yeah. If you can't be with the one you love, honey, love the one you're with.
That's it.
Love the one you're with.
To really, really enjoy what you have at the moment. Yeah.
So I was telling this story about my friend Martha, who was this very pretty, very smart woman, and she lived sometimes with me and my roommate at the time in Portland, Maine, but she was a bartender. She worked Fridays and Saturdays. She would drive down to New York City from Portland, Maine, which was about a 6-hour drive at the time, 6.5-hour drive. She would work 2 nights a week, and that's what she lived on. And then she would come back and hang out with us.
Ah, because she got a ton of tips.
She made a ton of money on these 2 nights, but she worked at this really big club in New York, and she would tell some great stories. And she had this one story.
She would flirt like a demon.
Oh, she was great. She knew how to work a bar. You know, Martha she had this great gravelly voice, and she was slightly, I mean, I guess you would say bourgeoise in a way, but in that sort of short-haired sort of like...
You kind of like that in a bartender.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She, you know, like if I were to take Martha, I would, if she had been an actress, I would cast her as the toughest nails with a heart of gold detective in a crimi series, you know. But she told this story one time of a dude who had come into the bar, and there would be people that would hit on her all the time.
Of course, everybody wants to lay the barmaid.
Everybody wants to lay the bartender, that's right. So, and she said the worst one that she ever had, and this is a true story, she said, there was this dude, he was at the end of the bar, and he looks over at her, gets her attention sort of with his eyes, and then just does this. And Martha's thinking, oh, rude, but okay. And the guy's doing this, and she walks over, and the guy looks at her and says, if I can make you come with one finger, imagine what I can do with my whole body.
Wow. Did she pour a drink in his face or?
No, she said she just looked at him stone faced. She turned around without saying a word. And basically, she would just make a snap. But because this was one of those clubs, they were always attentive. All the security dudes were just like, boom, took this dude, picked him up, and took him out. Because Martha said, he's done, he's gone. And yeah. That's the worst one I'd ever heard.
Have you ever been anywhere and tried to chat up the barmaid and actually succeeded?
Oh, yeah.
I have never gone home with a barmaid.
I try not to do it very often.
Or a waitress. Barmaids and waitresses. I've never, ever succeeded with barmaids and waitresses. And at some point I was just like, stop doing that. There's 50 guys in this place. Everyone is trying to pick her up.
Exactly.
Forget about it.
Exactly.
Concentrate on somebody else.
Exactly. Plus, they're working. They're working.
I think it's okay to hit on a working girl.
I agree.
You can go into a bank and you can hit on her. Or it's okay to flirt.
There's a difference.
It's okay to flirt with anybody.
There's a difference. There's a difference between flirting and hitting on, and there's a difference between hitting on and annoying. And the fact is, being flirty with the waitress is part and parcel of our lives, right? But
I'm not saying being annoying.
But trying to get the bartender to go home with you is a different thing. And there are some dudes that will try to get the bartender to go home with them in a way that impedes them from doing their job. And that's all I'm saying, is that after a while you realize, look, they're doing their job, so just don't. Leave a note if you've made a connection or whatever, but just don't hang out and try to get them to...
Yeah, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. Plus, they're at work. Just let them do their thing. They need to make some money.
Yeah.
It's the worst. You have to wait until they are done working.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that means you either have to sit there all night drinking non-alcoholic beverages, because by the time they're finished working, you're smashed.
Yeah. And who wants to go home with the smashed dude?
Exactly.
Nobody.
Or you have to find some way of meeting them somewhere else. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You leave the note.
But
View Through the Trees asks, have you been a vest
guy all your life?
kind of guy all your life?
Who are you
have you?
directing that at?
I think View Through the Trees is
I'm
asking.
actually, for the first time in what seems like ages, I'm wearing a t-shirt and not a vest.
I think View Through the Trees, who we know comes from California, is saying vest, meaning my chalet. That's what Americans say vest to this rather than a t-shirt or an undershirt as to what you would say as to a vest.
So have you been a vest guy all your life?
I think in some ways, yes. If meaning a vest guy, I don't know, because like in America, maybe View Through the Trees means a vest guy denotes something. I've always been a guy that likes fashion, absolutely. I've always been a guy that likes to dress well. You're a guy that likes to dress well. You've always been kind of a dresser. We both are actually good dressers. We're kind of known for that.
I wouldn't say fashion is something that interests me.
No, of course not. I'm using that term, but being well-kempt.
Gentlemen's overgarments, possibly.
Yeah.
But fashion...
We're well-kempt, we're groomed, we have a sense of style, absolutely.
Yes, I definitely don't have a sense of style all the time. I kind of turn it on and off depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I've definitely been a vest guy all my life.
Yeah.
My dad inherited a waistcoat. This is what I'd call it.
A whisket. A whisket.
Inherited
That's
a waistcoat.
That's how they say it in England. A whisket. No, that's not how they say it. Sorry, Michael.
From my grandfather.
Keep talking.
My dad inherited a woolen, handmade waistcoat from my grandfather.
Nice. That must be beautiful.
And I inherited it from my dad.
How cool is
my
that?
dad gave it to me, so I still own it.
That's very cool.
my grandfather was small.
Yeah.
There's actually a photograph of my parents had their 50th, and I was doing a photograph album, right? And there's a photograph from their wedding where you see my gran, who's 50 at this point,
Yeah.
maybe late 40s.
Right.
And my grandfather, who's maybe like 2-3 years older than she is.
Right.
And she's a head taller than he is.
Right.
So he was a real short ass. Like small, skinny little dude. And my dad's not much bigger. He's a little more, muscular. But I'm a head taller than my dad. And fitting into this waistcoat these days,
Right.
it's like, I can't button the fucking thing. It's like, it's nice to have it, but it's not so easy to wear it.
I hear you.
But I remember my dad wearing this waistcoat when I was like 6,
Right.
7. And I thought, oh, that is the best.
It looks so cool.
That is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
best. I want a waistcoat. And so I say to my mom, I want a waistcoat. Make me a waistcoat. Get me a waistcoat. Mom, please, right? You know what she did? She crocheted me one. And it was horrible. It was...
I asked her for
I
Adidas
never
and she
wore
got
it.
me zips. I said,
never wore it.
yo, Mom, you're going to ruin my rep. She said, you're only 16. You haven't got a rep yet.
Yeah.
You're looking dapper. Well, we are a dapper duo, that is true. And I think a lot of that had to do with, finding, I don't know how it was for you, but it was just finding my own thing. Like, how important it is for people in their own ways to feel special, right? Mm-hmm. It's important. People have to have a thing that makes them different. And sometimes there are things that make us all different together.
Is it really a matter of making them different? I mean, as far as clothing goes, I think it's finding out what helps you look the way you see yourself in your head.
That's assuming a lot of things, because first of all, you have to be able to see yourself in your head.
Well, maybe it's not necessarily a question of having it narrowed down to anything specific, but it's that image of yourself that you
want to portray,
feel or want, right?
Feel, yeah. Well, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. What is that image?
Right?
Exactly.
And when you find that, or you kind of spend a long time looking for that.
And now you're back to where I started. So this is what I'm talking about.
I was building on what you were saying. That's why we're back to where you started.
Oh, I thought you were just repeating what I was saying.
No.
Okay. In any case, this is what I'm saying, is that finding that thing, whatever it is that makes you you, and a lot of us do that with clothes. That's one of the main ways of doing it, right? Because with clothes, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are smarter about this than we are, but we show our tribes, we show to what part of things we belong. We help to present ourselves, the character in our costume, right? And so when you're a teenager and you're trying on these personalities, trying to figure out what fits, where do you get the resonance, what feels good to you, and then you find these different...
I was a terribly dressed teenager. I was dressed like a garbage bag when I was a teenager.
Right. I'm sure I dressed terribly, but I always had a thing. I always knew why I was wearing the thing I was wearing, even when it was ugly. I kind of knew that was part of my thing.
Yeah.
So like I had this, I got this wonderful old mantle, so a trench coat, that had belonged to my grandmother's uncle. And it was up in the attic at my grandmother's house. And I loved it. And this is the late 80s, early 90s. And that was kind of a cool thing as well. You know, you had all this alternative rock and you had these teenagers wearing the thing with the t-shirt underneath and with the hyper colors and stuff.
Yeah.
But I knew that jacket was awesome. Oh, and one of the things that I loved about that jacket the most was, I keep kicking this thing, by the way. One of the things I loved about that jacket the most was that I found a handwritten note inside the pocket, and it was that old spidery sort of 20s.
The way people used to write.
The way people used to write. And it had just 2 words on it. The words were barium enema. It was an enema of barium enema. And these 2 words for me were so incredibly inspiring.
What would you do with a barium enema?
I think it was a way for them to track the intestines back then.
Barium
was radioactive,
radioactive,
and they would be able to follow it with the X-ray. But I thought, how cool would it be if I were to walk around in this jacket and then somebody would look at me and then say, "The dog barks at midnight," and I would look at them and say, "Barium enema," and they would say, "That is good. Here are plans. Now take over the world." Never happened.
God, that sounds like your grandmother's uncle died of colon cancer.
Yeah.
Frankly.
He may
Poor
have
guy.
done. He may have done, but I love that jacket very much. And
Do
finding
you still have that coat?
Unfortunately, no. I think that coat has got moved on somewhere along the line. But there are some things, that so fashion is a big part of it. Again, I'm using fashion, but what I mean is clothing, I think, is a way of showing who we are, what we aspire to be, how we want to be seen, as well as how we see ourselves.
What kind of lifestyle we portray, or what kind of lifestyle we want to live.
Like there was a long time, I'm still in part of this time, where I have always kind of joked about saying, basically I like to dress like I'm an off-duty airline pilot from the 1960s. That's basically my style.
Yeah. And you have the camera to go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So just like an off-duty airline pilot from the 1960s.
Yeah. Fade in sweeping strings. I
want you all to know that tonight the friendly skies will be dotted with the lights of love from here to eternity.
Tune in again next week for more Lights of Love on Friendly Skies with Captain Midge.
Lights of Love. That's a great title for a soap opera. Lights of Love.
Friendly Skies and the Nights of Love. Lights of Love. Yeah. So, gang, what do you got going? What else do you want to talk about? It's open up. It's open topic night.
It is open topic night. We've had a few good topics. It's the night of the 3 cameras, which I'm kind of excited about. You can let us know if we should follow this idea. I really like this camera, by the way. The other one is not my favorite, but I like this one. Have we listened to Belush music?
We can listen to Belush music, but it's kind of difficult to do it. Oh, we should have programmed that. We can't. Actually, basically, we can't.
Okay, that's fine. But we had some music
me.
from Belush Karani, the lovely and talented.
Can you sing something?
Wow.
No.
Not tonight.
No, not tonight. It's not going to
Not
happen.
tonight.
But View Through the Trees, if you join us again, like join us next week. If you view through the trees, join us next week. We'll sing something.
Yeah.
Okay? We'll have a guitar on hand and sing a song.
Michael's making promises.
Yeah.
Let's see if he'll keep those promises.
Pavlov says, I like the cameras. The side cams have a kind of 80s music video vibe. Yes,
Yeah.
especially
Mine.
this one.
This one. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy how we just couldn't get the white balance going on this one. Do 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 do.
Yeah, this is.
You can
this is
dance
like,
if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
Yeah, but I think it's more like a Nick Kershaw video. You're trying to remember who Nick Kershaw is right now, aren't you?
I have no idea. What's a Nick Kershaw song? Cashew song?
What?
Nick Cashew.
Wouldn't it be nice to be on your side?
Yeah, but what was the
even
name
if
of that
it
band?
was for just one
Wasn't
day?
that Howard Jones?
Oh, that might have been Howard Jones. Yeah, you might be right. Okay, Nick Kershaw song. By a tree to the riddle, there's a man in the ground
that's what I
with a
thought. Yeah, I'm not into that
goes
guy.
around and around.
Yeah, I'm not into that dude. Howard Jones I liked,
I didn't like Howard Jones.
but that's a
I
great
didn't
song.
particularly like Nick,
Nick
Kershaw.
Kershaw.
That's why I kind of got them confused.
Okay, so
Deal.
View Through Trees.
View Through the Trees, yes.
Yeah, that was a tough deal for View Through Trees to make. Michael making wild promises like showing up with a guitar here next week. You could barely show up with the power plug this week. I'd like to see how that happens. But I'm excited for it, dude. It's gonna
happen. It's totally gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of showing up with the guitar, you had a concert last week.
I did.
While I was speaking with
Yes.
Sarah Schaff. You enjoyed that. You learned a lot.
I learned a lot. I definitely learned a lot. It's I've had 2 concerts this year, and the first one was like a week before the first lockdown.
Right.
And the second one was 3 days before the second lockdown.
Right.
So I was really screwed audience-wise.
Yeah.
I did learn how to do a live streaming concert. Didn't have anybody live streaming it though. But yeah, it was
It's crazy.
interesting. You know, it's been so long since I've been in and out of bands and playing since I was 16, but this is the first time in 25 years that I've actually been the singer in a band, kind of thing.
Right.
I kind of stopped the singer-songwriter thing and became the guitar player and songwriter in a band.
Right.
And kind of took that B-man position for near on 20 years.
Yeah.
And going back into the kind of frontman position is an interesting transition, yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of work. And I know that my singing's a lot better than it was a year ago.
Right.
I've really noticed how that's been improving. I didn't think that would improve in those noticeable increments. But there's lots of things that I still need to get figured out again and
Yeah.
find new ways of doing or. Yeah.
That was one of the things that we talked about last week, was starting projects. How difficult is that for you?
Well, if I'm really inspired to start a project, I can drop everything and just go for it.
Yeah.
And actually starting projects is not that difficult. It's seeing projects through.
Which is
the tough
exactly
thing.
what we came up with last week as well. Absolutely. That's the toughest part. Getting inspired by something.
Yeah.
Sleeping with somebody for the first time
Yeah.
is really exciting.
Getting inspired to sleep with him like the 10th time.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this, like a similar vein this week, because I'm writing so much new material these days that I often find myself saying, you need to go and finish that song. But there's also so many other ideas that I'm kicking around. And sometimes it's difficult to drop the freshest idea and keep going on the idea that has basically the most potential of getting done. So
The most
being
potential of getting done,
finished
yeah.
a song, being a finished song. It's just like the further you get, the closer you get to actually finishing a song, the less inspiring it is to do it. The more work it actually is. It's just those last couple of times where you just need to figure out
where the water has to get brought in, the wood's got to
Yeah.
get cut.
Yeah.
And I would see
That's
this
it.
so many times with improvisers, you know, when I was traveling around teaching, and you would see people who, you know, get so into it, and you know, the learning curve is incredibly style, you know,
Yeah,
you
and it's
learn
inspiring, and you kind of
and you learn
floating
so
on that,
fast,
yeah.
and then you get to the certain point, and that's when the work starts.
Yeah.
And then you see so many people drop away, and so many people be like, yeah, but it used to be so
Yeah.
fun. and,
But-
oh no, this sucks. But that's the where you have to keep going.
Okay, so I've got two things to say to that. First of all, I have a trick of I've figured out a way of tricking myself into doing that. Mm-hmm. But if you look at any artist, okay,
Yeah.
if you walk into a painter's workshop,
Yeah.
they're not painting one picture.
Yeah.
They're not painting 3 pictures.
Yeah.
They're painting 20.
Yeah.
And they kind of go and do a little bit on each one every day.
Yeah.
It's the regularity that's important.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to equal out the attention to all the projects. So you can have lots of projects.
Yeah.
But pay attention to all of them.
Yeah.
That's the one thing.
This is what Uncle Mike says.
And the other thing is,
Yeah.
I trick myself
Yeah.
by saying, I'm not going to do this for myself. I got this buddy who's writing the song. I'm going to go help him write the song.
Right.
And that kind of tricks me into being in a position where I've kind of promised a friend of mine to go around his place and
Right.
help him write the song.
That's really nice.
And then I end up like, I actually got to do this because I said I'm going to do this. So then I end up
That's
going,
really nice.
helping myself write the song.
That's really nice. I have found myself in places where I would want to do something. I know doing this thing would be good for me. And yet, somehow I had found a way to make myself the person who said, Jim, you not only want to do this, you have to do this. And then I start to rebel against that person who is myself and start to think, well, don't tell me what to do. I won't, and then I get trotzig and then not do that thing as a way of rebelling, although I know it's the thing that I
Against
wanted
yourself.
to do at the beginning. And if I can,
I think this takes procrastination to a whole new level.
it does take procrastination to a whole new level. And if I can do that to myself that way, which is negatively charged, I think doing it the way you're doing it, of saying, rather than saying, I gotta finish this song, fuck you, don't tell me what to do, I'm not gonna finish this song. Plus, I'm not interested in it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, instead of that, and just saying, hey, I gotta help my buddy finish this song.
Yeah, because that way you get to come in as the hero and put the bells and whistles on the thing that's
Right?
almost done.
Right? Plus, you're always way nicer. I'm always way nicer to my buddies than I am to myself. Just remember that the next time I'm a dick to you.
Yeah.
That I'm way dickisher to myself.
It's like the next time you tell me, what's with the David Attenborough voice?
I mean, if you think I have been a dick to you, just know that I am so much more of a dick to myself. Because we are, right? I mean, I have said things to myself. I have treated myself in ways that I would never
Really?
treat another human being.
Example.
Oh, telling myself that this is terrible, it's a stupid idea, telling myself not to do something or to try something because of whatever reason, where if it was anybody else, I would be like, you follow that impulse, do that thing, are you kidding? Oh man, yeah, we are our own worst critics
now I understand.
in that sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm my own worst critic as well. It's really, really difficult to put yourself in any kind of perspective any sensible kind of perspective.
Yeah.
Which is why it's really good to have people you can approach about stuff. And I think it's good to have people you can approach about stuff and ask them what they think of things. And then when those people give you criticism, you really need to take it.
Yeah.
It's like Dennis. I played Dennis one of my songs, and he was like, "Yeah." Oh, and I'd got to the point where I was like, "Oh, this is finished. This is done." Right? I'd done the work.
You love it, yeah.
I'd done the work.
Yeah.
It got to the point where I couldn't stand the song anymore. It was finished, right? And I played it for Dennis, and Dennis was like, "Yeah, you know, Michael, I don't."
Except he said, "Yeah, you know, Michael, there's only one record store."
He got that nasal note when he really doesn't like something. He's like, "Michael, you know." It's like.
And was he searching for words?
I don't like it when the song just doesn't change the whole time. You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, fuck you, Dennis. You don't know what you're talking about. That's what I thought. And then I went on holiday, and that stuck with me.
Right.
And I had a guitar with me, and I figured out a way of putting in like a middle eight into the song.
Right.
It totally works, and it makes the song complete.
Right.
But originally playing him the song, thinking I'm done with this,
Yeah.
was a really good idea. And even though I didn't like the criticism at the time,
Yeah.
it was absolutely spot on.
Well, I think if you get criticism, you never take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from.
Sure, but you always have to consider criticism as advice in the first place.
I hear you, but like, I had to learn that. Like, I think there was a time in my life. It's a long time ago, but there was a time in my life where I would have based so much on audience reaction, on friends, what did they say and stuff like that. But then there are tons of people, audience members that will come up and tell you shit.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh man, I could be affected by this. But at the same time, I would never ask this person for advice on my artwork, so I'm never going to take criticism from them.
Yeah.
I'm often interested in hearing what they thought worked or didn't work.
Yeah.
But I will almost never take it to heart because, what else?
Atomic Habits.
Pavlov's dog talking about a book that they're reading. It doesn't matter how long you do something, it's how often.
How often you do it.
Yeah. About habits, like doing things daily.
Yeah. I can't remember. I think it was... who's the author who wrote The Sun Also Sets?
You mean The Sun Also Rises?
The Sun Also Rises?
Hemingway?
Are there two parts of that?
I don't think so.
Okay, so anyway, Hemingway. I think it was Hemingway that it's important to do the writing. The quality of the writing is not important.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a writer, you have to write daily. You have to set aside that time to go and write every day. It doesn't matter what you write. It can be rubbish.
If Jules is seeing this, I know all of this. Jules is a buddy of ours, Julian Simpson. He's a wonderful writer. Does a lot for the BBC and stuff, and is working on a thing for Netflix right now. His shit is blowing up, and it's awesome. And he's always encouraging me to just write 5 pages a day.
Yeah.
Or just work in an hour-long segment. Just work on the thing, do whatever needs to be done on this thing for an hour. If that means you're trying to get 5 pages done and you can't get to 5 pages in 5 hours, well, that's fine, but or if you're editing this, just do that just do 5 pages a day. He said, if you can do 5 pages a day, 5 days a week, you're going to have a 45-page script done every 2 weeks, which will make you the most amazing burn and churn writer in all of Hollywood.
Yeah. It's really important to do that, and that's something that I've really taken to heart.
I find this advice constantly. When I was really working out all the time, I had to do it every single day just to be consistent about it. If you're drinking, you have to drink every day.
And you have to start early, otherwise you can't drink all day.
You can't drink all day unless you start in the morning.
Yeah.
If you are trying to cut down on sugar, you have to do it, it's like the alcoholics, one day at a time. Just don't drink today. And that's all we're doing today. And I think it all comes back to those same things. Where the Buddhist, it's all about being mindful, about being where you are, about knowing where we are. And that's why we have that thing in improvisation where we're constantly forced to be where we are while we're creating. Here, we're getting better at being where we are. But I think this is the same thing in a lot of ways. Oh man, this has been a very interesting, it should be about something.
Yeah. I'm wondering whether it's been a bit long.
It's been super long.
It's been an hour and a half
It's always
so far.
long whenever we're with Michael.
So, but maybe we want to wrap this up.
I think so. I think we should wrap this up this time around and thank everybody so very much for joining us. Pavlov's dog, thank you. View Through Trees, who I haven't noticed in the chat up until now, so thank you so much for being a new viewer from California. And Verena Müller, thank you also, Sweetness, for stopping by. I recognize that picture. Verena is a wonderful actress, and a big shout out to her. That's all I got to see there.
I actually want to pick up on what Verena's saying here, because
What's that?
We are different types, which is one of the reasons why I have always liked this. Well, I've always liked working in teams, because we're different types. And she's saying, what's important to you? The process of the work of finishing the end product, right? So being in a team, if you have the right team, then there's somebody who has the idea and then quickly gets bored with the idea. And you have those who pick up the idea and chisel away at it until it's done. And you need all of these in a team, right? So if you've got the right team together, if you've got the right band, if you've got the right relationship, right, whatever, then that's kind of what you're going for, right?
Yeah. And you have to understand that there are going to be people in that team that are really good at this bit and really suck at the other bit.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
even though you keep doing that other bit and you're like, I'm the only one who does this bit. Well, yeah that's because you're the one that does that bit.
And lots of the time, like in my last band, I was quite happy being the guy who'd always finish writing the songs, always put in the hours at the computer at night mixing whatever was going down, right? But I was absolutely happy with that because I knew that nobody else would want to do it or was in the frame of mind to do it or would do it the way that, basically the way that I wanted it to be done.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm always actually happy to do that work if it needs to get done. What I don't like is when it gets taken for granted that I do that.
Yeah, because everyone wants to be appreciated, and there's a lot of that work that certain types don't want to do, and they'll never do that, and it doesn't matter. Which is fine, but it sucks on people. But maybe this is something we should talk about. Let's talk about group dynamics.
I think it's okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, good. I think it's okay to have the idea and then walk away and say, you guys finish this. I think that's fine, because that there are different personalities and we tick different boxes within a group, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and finding those people. By the way, I'm so thrilled with the camera that is on right now. No, go back into it. Just look how pretty you look.
Oh, yes.
And also, I got the lighting really good on this one because
but yellow.
No, shut up, because of the Spitz here. It just looks so classic. You're in this. It's so nice. I mean, yeah, I could do a little bit more in some places, but it's damn good for a webcam.
Well, for a webcam, it's pretty awesome.
It's damn good. Where do the fingers go? Where do the fingers go? In Michael's nose up there, right up in Michael's nose.
Okay, you guys. So, everybody, thank you so much for joining us again on a Thursday.
Please hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification button if you're into knowing when it is that we're going live. There's a tip jar. We got our first tip last week.
Awesome.
in the
Did
tip
you
jar.
find out whether it was your mom?
I did not find out who it was.
I'm going to call her.
I don't know if it was my mom. I don't know where my mom is anymore. But my mom said she's going to send me a thing for my birthday. I'm really excited to find out what it is.
Cool.
Yeah. So in any case, thank you all for joining us. We're going to be back next week at 8:30 for It Should Be About
Is it going to be the both of us?
I think so.
Cool.
I think it's going to be both of us. And maybe we'll have even more of this stuff figured out.
Maybe we'll find some better webcams.
And maybe we'll actually have a thing on Facebook. Does anybody use Facebook anymore? Does anybody really click on things that they like? Do you go and watch something because you saw that it's going to happen on Facebook?
Leave
If
us a
it's
note
true,
here.
Leave us a note,
Yeah.
and if that's true, because we're starting to lose faith in all of Facebook.
It's not Facebook anymore.
Yeah, maybe we're
there's
just
no
going to
Facebook.
start a newsletter. Does people do that anymore?
I don't know.
We have to. Remember Huey Lewis in the news? I want a new drug.
Yeah.
We need a new way of communication. This is really nice, though, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Good night.
Mwah! Good night, guys.
Bye.